Your blood pressure might look normal, but is it really? 1 in 3 adults has no idea what their numbers actually mean. Let's fix that. Hi, and welcome to Doctor's Daily Dose. I'm your family physician. Today, we're kicking off our blood pressure series by unraveling the mystery behind those two numbers you often hear, your blood pressure readings. Let's dive in. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the force exerted by circulating blood against the walls of our arteries. It's measured using two numbers. Systolic pressure is the top number, indicating pressure when the heart beats. Diastolic pressure, the bottom number, indicating pressure when the heart rests between beats. For example, a reading of 120/70 means a systolic pressure of 120 and a diastolic pressure of 70. How blood pressure is measured. Blood pressure is measured using a device called a sphygmomanometer, which consists of an inflatable cuff and a gauge. The cuff is placed around the upper arm while listening to the blood flow through the artery with a stethoscope. Some devices automatically measure blood pressure and display the results digitally, eliminating the need for a stethoscope. Blood pressure is typically measured in millimeters of mercury, mmHg. So, if the readings are 120 systolic and 80 diastolic, then the blood pressure is 120/80 millimeters of mercury. Detailed method of checking the blood pressure and which machine to choose are discussed in separate videos in detail. Blood pressure of a normal healthy adult. A normal blood pressure reading in a healthy person is generally considered to be less than 120/80 millimeters of mercury. Many people come to my clinic and say, "Doctor, I have blood pressure."
But
let me tell you something. We all have blood pressure. That's actually a good thing. It means your heart is working and blood is flowing through your arteries. Blood pressure is a measurement, not a disease. It tells us the force with which blood is pushing against the walls of your arteries as your heart pumps. It fluctuates throughout the day depending on activity, stress, hydration, and even posture. So, saying I have blood pressure is like saying I have body temperature. Yes, you do. But unless it's too high or too low, it's not a problem.
now,
What is hypertension? When blood pressure becomes consistently high, that's what we call hypertension, a medical condition. It's often called the silent killer because it usually has no symptoms until damage is already done to your heart, kidneys, brain, or eyes. In essence, blood pressure is a measurement, while hypertension is a condition where blood pressure is abnormally high. Let's go over the current classification of blood pressure readings by the American Heart Association, AHA. According to AHA, blood pressure is considered normal when systolic BP is less than 120 and diastolic BP is less than 80, elevated or high normal. When systolic BP is 120 to 129 and diastolic BP is less than 80. Hypertension stage 1. When systolic BP is 130 to 139 or diastolic BP is 80 to 89. Hypertension stage 2. When systolic BP is greater than or equal to 140 or diastolic BP greater than or equal to 90. Hypertensive crisis. When systolic BP is greater than or equal to 180 and or diastolic BP is greater than or equal to 120. It's important to note that different organizations like the European Society of Cardiology, ESC, or WHO may have slightly different cutoff values. But in general, anything 130/80 millimeters of mercury or more is a red flag, especially if repeated on multiple occasions. We will discuss in detail in separate video how to diagnose and manage hypertension.
now,
What happens? When blood pressure drops below the normal range. When BP drops below 90/60 millimeters of mercury, it's called hypotension. Not everyone with low BP is unhealthy, but if you're experiencing symptoms like dizziness, blurred vision, fatigue, or fainting, then it needs attention. Often, it can be managed by improving fluid intake, adjusting medications, or small diet changes. Understanding your blood pressure numbers is the first step to protect your heart and your health. Don't just say, I have BP. Know your numbers and know what they mean. In the next episode, we'll show you how to measure your BP correctly at home. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Doctor's Daily Dose, your guide to smart, evidence-based health awareness.